Okay, so we're going to have a chat about how we can create psychological safety to enable high performance. So one of the things that thank you, bro. One of the things that I notice a lot of, and I do a lot of work in, is that we talk about needing psychological safety, yeah?
Yeah.
How do we do it, right? I don't hear a lot of how, right? We're going to get very practical today, right? I want you to leave with at least 3 tools that you can take back to your workplace to start putting psychological safety in there, in your teams, okay? Cool. You'll see a bunch of cards that are scattered around. They've got some awkward questions on them. Some of them are less awkward, some of them are more awkward, right? I want you all, and you can use these today. I've got a question for you that I actually want you to answer when we're doing a little exercise. But I want you to take those back to your workplace, and I want you to ask your teammates those questions, right? What makes you insecure? When are you at your best? What do you need to be performing? Things like that. These questions we do not ask each other. All right. So we've got about an hour together. You're all grown ups. If you need to pop off and do your things, right? I'm Sam. Okay, so I'm one of the founding partners of Braver Leaders. We have a company in the UK, and we are dipping our toe in the water in the UAE to see how it goes. That was my dance moves we were talking about 2 seconds ago. And so we're setting up here and giving it a go in the UAE. I'm being incredibly vulnerable because I do not know how it's going to go, and I'm taking a bit of a risk. Welcome. Wherever you feel comfortable. Come on in. Don't be shy. I am a former competitive 100-meter sprinter, so I ran very fast in a straight line, but I could not turn corners. I am useless at turning corners, so as soon as I went around the bend, I was useless. I would lose 200-meter races because I couldn't turn the corner. I am a leadership team and executive coach, and I put team first because that is what we focus on. So we are a team coaching and leadership development business first. Yes, we do one-to-one coaching, but it is not our first thing, right? We start with teams. I am super passionate about team interaction, right? I've led businesses around the globe. I'm a researcher. I'm researching play currently and how we can bring play in to create psychological safety. And I've got a bit of an interesting past. So I'm going to tell you something which you might not expect to hear at a conference like this. So I'm an addict. I'm an alcoholic. 6 years ago, I went through all of that and I got clean and sober. Bit different, yeah? Probably not what you expected to hear come out of my mouth. Thank you. I went through something which was incredibly difficult in my life. And what came from that for me is I started talking about it. I don't know why. Actually, somebody asked me to share, so I do know why. And what I noticed when I shared is what's happening right now. Everybody goes, oh, interesting. They lean in, they nod. Maybe you feel a bit of empathy. Maybe you feel a bit of judgment. Maybe you feel something in here, right, that goes, oh, that's interesting. Maybe you relate. If I can help one person, this is my bigger purpose. I'll talk about our company purpose. If I can help one person get shy of drugs and alcohol, I've done my job. I don't care about the rest of this stuff, right? And I work with that stuff all of the time. Okay. Come on in. Okie dokie. I've done a bunch of study, a bunch of research, just to kind of give you a little bit of a background. So behavior change, lots of people who've been in my position of going through addiction and alcoholism, then go, why did I act the way I did? They go and start researching that stuff, right? Why is my brain working this way? Behavior change, coaching, leadership, business. And I've done research centering around mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, sport performance, and team performance. And as I said, I'm currently researching play, and I'm fascinated with it, right? How can we play more? How can we have a little bit of fun? How can we use embodied movement to actually create psychological safety? And we're going to do some of that today. You guys are going to do some of that today, not me. Yeah. Look out. Okay, this is our purpose. We like to insert joy. It is a joy to be in a great team. Am I wrong? Yes. That's cool, right? We like to help people feel that joy of being in a great team. I have a hypothesis that by creating safety in teams, by giving that psychological safety, it allows people to stand on their edge, right? Take risk. Risk's a funny word in business, though, hey? Don't take too many risks. I sounded like my dad then. Don't take too many risks, son. Don't take too many risks because we need to make sure the business is safe. So we changed the word, initiative. Yeah? Take initiative. How do we do that? By creating some safety. Okay, so here's what we're going to do today. As I said, the session goal is 3 practical tools to take away rather than just theory. I will give you some theory. I want to show that it's backed up, but then we are going to do some tools. Actually, I'm going to hit you with a tool straight away, the check-in, and you're all going to get talking to one another. So I hope you're not sitting next to people you know. Good. Good. I like that. You two, do you know each other?
Yes.
Yes, you do. We're going to get talking to one another. Then we're going to do a little bit of theory. Then we're going to do something which is going to make you all feel really awkward, and I love that. Then we're going swimming. Did anyone bring their bathing suits?
We'll go skinny dipping.
Not what I expected to come out of your mouth, and that is thank you very much. Hassan, you've made my day. You said, I asked you before, what always makes your day? You just made my day. Okay. I just want you to reflect for a moment. How did you feel when I told you that I went through addiction and alcoholism? What did it make you feel? Just reflect. Notice where you felt in your body. Maybe see if you can give it an emotion. Was it trust? Was it empathy? Was it judgment? No judgment from me if it was, right? Because, yeah, it's an interesting story, right? What was it? Come on in. Come on in. Okie dokie. Tool number 1. Those of you that have just walked in, hello, I'm Sam. Welcome. What we are doing today is creating psychological safety in teams with some tools. So I'm not going to do loads of theory. It's going to be lots of tools. And we're about to do our first tool. So you've just walked into that. Well done. Now, one of the most effective tools I've found, and it's super simple, all the best ones are, is a simple check-in at the start of meetings. Yeah? How are you arriving? That means I'm arriving mentally well, or I am arriving mentally in a challenged state. I got in a car accident on the way to work today. My daughter is sick. Actually, I've just won a huge proposal, so I'm feeling amazing. How are you arriving mentally? It's not how, I took the bus to work today. So mind you, we're in the UAE. Nobody, I'm guessing, took the bus. Everybody drove their Maseratis here, right? That's what I'm asking you to do. So what I want you to do now is just turn to the person next to you, except you two. You can turn that way and you can turn behind, to someone you don't know and ask that question. How are you arriving today? Mentally. And I want you to practice getting a little bit vulnerable, talking about what's going on in your life right now, okay? Just to dipping our toe in the water, okay? Okay, couple of minutes, go for it.
How do you feel? So I had an eventful morning. People coming.
I love a mom.
Yes.
In the evening, the restaurant.
We had an event with my
Let's just see the bunch. Just try. Just stay present.
But then again, the rest of the colleagues are actually very good, but I'm not driving. Just had a manager for this.
And I was like, no.
I'm pretty excited.
Definitely, his base for kind of every day. So, no, he's probably a So from UK, right? From UK. Yeah, 19 years here now.
Okay, yeah, yeah. And will you drive back tomorrow? Are you ready?
I love
Did everyone get a chance to answer the question? I had a little moment there. I was just standing there. I was like, this is why I do what I do, right? Watching people connect. Like you're actually connecting, right? Like, what's really going on for you right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just like, oh, this is cool. It was super cool. Anyway, okay, little bit of theory. Okay, so talking a little bit about how we can enable initiative, right? So I'd written this and said, how do we enable risk taking? And my business partner was like, dude, you're starting this by saying risk's a funny word. Let's talk about initiative. So I changed. Then we're going to talk about deep listening. Then we're going to do some vulnerable sharing. 3 little words, and then we're going swimming. Okay, a little bit of theory on attachment theory. Okay, who's familiar with attachment theory? Yeah, nice, cool. So when we grow up with an attachment style. It'll either be secure or insecure. Yeah, the insecure types are avoidant or anxious. We can get anxious avoidant too, but let's not worry about the depths of that for a moment. You just grow up with an attachment style, right? When we have an insecure base, we respond really interestingly to things, right? If we're insecure, we will actually jump to conclusions. We might overthink things. If we're anxious, preoccupied, it's like, oh, this is really bothering me. If we're avoidant, we're trying to actually step away from things and create space. If we're secure, we know that we can respond sensitively. We don't need to interfere with people's lives. We can encourage them. Their well-being is actually our priority. Hey, are you all good? I got you. What do you need? Right? So when we can start to respond from a secure base, we actually can create safety in our teams. By sharing our story, you show people that you're a fallible human and that there's a secure base to come back to, right? It's okay, I got you. Respond sensitively, encourage them, and don't interfere with their lives. Now, I'm very lucky, right? Like I've had a bit of a mixed past, as we've already talked about, but I've got an incredibly secure family base. I've got a mum and dad that are still together. I've got brothers and sisters around the world that love me very much, and I've got really amazing friends. That allows me to go and take all of these silly risks, like setting up a business in the UAE, right? It allows me to go gallivanting around the globe, right? If we can look at that secure base for our team, then they can go out and take initiative. Starts with us as leaders. Now, here's some practical ways that we can actually respond in a secure manner more regularly, right? So this is from Dr. David Brock. This developed in 2008. It's called the SCARF model, right? Take a photo, do what you need. So SCARF is status, certainty, autonomy, relatedness, and fairness. Now, whenever we threaten somebody's, one of these for a person, we move them towards a threat response. They respond poorly, yeah? If we can actually help them move to a reward response, then they're going to respond in a more productive manner. Okay? So, status. If you praise somebody publicly, if you criticize them publicly, so criticize or give constructive feedback in private, praise publicly. Easy, right? Pretty simple thing to remember. Certainty, clear goals. If you give people clear goals and say, here is how you can achieve that, you are going to move them towards a reward response. If you give them ambiguity, that way. Yeah? Autonomy, simple, right? Micromanagement, that way. I need to see this. I need it on my desk by this time. I need this now. It's like, why are you doing this? Well, let people fail. That's how they learn, right? There are no losses in life. And an Emirati friend of mine said this to me recently. He's like, Sam, if you lose, don't lose the lesson. It's like, oh man, I mean, you know, he looked amazing. He was in his white dish dash. I was just like, dude, you know, you've been sent from somewhere to tell me that, right?
You never lose anything if you learn something.
Exactly. I heard a thing from Kobe Bryant yesterday say, if you win, you get up and go again tomorrow. If you lose, you get up and go again tomorrow. So what's the point in worrying? Exactly. Right? So let people fail, you know, give them the autonomy to make their own mistakes, move them towards a reward response. Relatedness, that is actually about coaching and mentoring, right? So really relating to people and saying, what do you need? How can I help you progress? What do you need in order to get to your goals? If you move away from that and you become avoidant, it's like, yeah, you can figure your own stuff out. Show an interest in their lives. People move towards a threat response. And then finally, fairness is transparency, right? This is what's going on. This is how it's going to affect you. When people know that stuff, they're going to move towards a reward response. Again, avoidance is a real problem in business in general, right? When people kind of say, that's too hard, they outsource conversations to coaches, to HR, right? Yeah, I know that you're nodding your head there, right? It's like, hey, you guys can figure that out, right? Have the conversation, Mr. or Mrs. CEO, right? Have the conversation, own it. Cool. Okay. You can see I'm passionate about that, right? Listening. So Damien was talking about silence before. I couldn't agree more with that, right? We need to create more silence to allow people to think more deeply. Okay? You're all doing an amazing job of it right now, and it's allowing me to think and allowing my brain to go in places that go, oh yeah, cool, that's right, I know that stuff, I bring it in. I know that stuff, I bring it in. You've got the power to do that too, right? We spend our lives waiting for our turn to speak, right? Oh, I've got an idea. Can I say it now? Shut up, let that person speak and let them finish. We spend our lives interrupting. We finish people's sentences, right? We don't know what people are going to say. We just think that we do, okay? Let them finish the sentences. Who's guilty of one or more of these?
We all are.
Say, Rachel. Yeah. I know.
If I may, just a quick input there. The whole concept right now, the fact of silence that you mentioned now, why it's so powerful is because it allows for heart resonance.
Yes.
It's not just blah, 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 blah. You allow it from here.
True.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. Have you ever heard of codependency?
Yes.
Right. So codependency was actually a thing which was developed to look at the relationship between addicts, their drug of choice, and their family. But we apply it to all relationships now. Blanket. The actual truth is that when we get into a relationship with someone, be it romantic or otherwise, we regulate each other's heartbeats, we regulate our breathing, even our pulse has changed, right? So all of this stuff, you can actually go, okay, if that person is calm, maybe I'm helping your pulse lift up a bit right now because I'm quite excited, right? And maybe if I bring it down, you'll actually feel a bit calmer. Interesting, right? So actually, dependency is not a choice. We do it, right? So yeah, that's another way to create that safe base.
You can be conscious about where you move it around, but it's not a choice.
Totally. 100%. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate that. So creating space for others to speak without interrupting is gold. And one of my lecturers, Nancy Klein, she's brilliant. She's in her mid-80s. She's like this little old grandma that comes in. She wrote a book called Time to Think. If you haven't read it, read it. I can't recommend it enough. Talks about setting up a thinking environment in business. She says that when we give silence to another person, it not only improves the quality of the conversation, but it improves the quality of someone else's thinking. So to give them that space and say to them, I'm not going to interrupt you. You just talk. Let me know when you're finished. People go on a journey. They think out loud. They hear their thoughts. They get to their own conclusions. That's kind of the basis of coaching. Still leading to a point. Then, as leaders, as HR, as leaders in our businesses, adopting this posture of, I don't know, right? 3 little words, I don't know. Saying that more often is powerful. I don't know, what do you think? Tell me more, right? That's actually one of my favorite sentences. It's like, say a bit more, right? Like, get really curious. And people just keep talking, and it's amazing. It can extend to, what do you think? Tell me your experience. Create safety, and it gives people this kind of this view that I'm a fallible human. I don't know everything. How could you? Look at all the knowledge in the world now. If you know everything, you're literally a computer, right? So what examples do you have?
Examples.
In the pandemic, it was the first time I heard my GM actually say to me, I don't know.
Yeah, nice.
You know, and it was a reality check of like, well, we're actually, because he was always the guy that knew everything. In my opinion, was, the guy to look up to when I went to his office and I asked him a question and he took a breath and he said, I actually don't know. And then I realized at that point 2 things. First of all, that he's vulnerable like the rest of us, but also that I had to step up to my role to support him. Only for you're always supporting, right? That's your job. Like you're doing it anyway. But just those 3 words, I was like, oh my God, if he doesn't know what are we going to do for a few seconds and then.
Bet, I'm willing to bet it improved your relationship with him.
Yeah, I mean, we always had a good relationship, but it was the first time I really seen him vulnerable.
Yeah.
I have an example. Last year, I had a colleague of mine who was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. And because I was one of the seniors of HR business partners there, they put me as acting in her role as an HR manager. And in that time, she had already developed a relationship with her 2 colleagues. One of them wasn't too happy. She left, and I was just left with one. And then the other one ended up being transferred. So I was all alone. In that time, I had to juggle so much stuff together. And I was like, damn it, this is a lot of work, but I can do it. And at first I was like, all the managers are always pretending like they know everything, but that's not true. They don't know half of what's going on. So they don't ask anybody anything. Then eventually I got stressed out. My boss, I told him, look, I need leave. Whether you give me a person or not, when this day comes, I'm off. I prioritize myself. And then he took that seriously and he ended up giving me someone. And he gave me someone, that person, I already knew them, but we never had that close relationship as a subordinate and manager. And then she would come to me up with certain things, and I would remember my managers, they'll always pretend like they know everything. And I was like, I can't do the same thing. So I would ask her, what do you think about it? And then they brought me another colleague, and I'm like, what do you think about it? And we became best friends. And I realized that there's no such thing as a manager. Manager is actually just that person that makes everybody else feel comfortable. But we're one team.
I would argue that that's you becoming a leader, right? Because the leader is, leadership is a personality trait. Management is a job. Right? And
Most managers can't manage themselves.
exactly, right? And so, yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's a really powerful example. Yeah.
Great example of a leader who just once told the team, I need help.
Yeah.
And because she was so open and honest and showed her vulnerability to say that I need help, we all somewhat came together and just felt like we need to help her. She's asking for help, right? Because a lot of times in a team, you just feel like it is something that you have to do. We need to deliver, we need to complete the task, this is the timeline. But when someone actually stops and say, I need help, you just ramp up the amount of things that you need to contribute.
Humans want to help, right? Yeah. We all do. Amazing. Okay, one quick one, and then we'll move on.
3 words.
Yeah.
Shall we try?
Nice.
Shall we try?
Yeah, love that.
Instead of putting the new idea on the person, or she doesn't want to come out of her comfort zone. How about we try together, and if you don't like it, you can go back to doing what you were doing before. And when you love it, then we can just take it to the next step.
I love that. Thank
And
you
they-
so much.
they end
That's,
up
that's
loving it.
really good. Shall we try? Creating united front. Let's take a risk together. Let's take some initiative together. And hey, we fail together, right? Let's step towards it together. Love that.
We learn together.
Yeah,
No
thank you.
failure.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Great catch. You should do this. Okay. So finally, holding space to share vulnerably. So owning your story, right? This is why I lead these sessions with what I do, right? Like, here's what I went through, right? And I believe pain is a gift to us, right? We go through these things it introduces us to who we really are, right? There's no fundamental change. There's a fundamental closeness to who you really are, right? So owning your story, talking about it, and holding space for those by listening really intently, being in a place of not knowing, and creating those positive responses along the lines of, tell me more. Okay, man, how do I help you with your needs, right? Creating that safe space will actually gives people the ability to feel your pain and create empathy, and it regulates each other and creates those trust bonds, right? So talking about regulating those emotions, those hormones that we were talking about before. Okay, guess what? Your turn. Here's what we're going to do. So you can share beside you, or perhaps go find somebody else. Yeah, let's change it up. Let's get up and walk and find somebody else. And we're going to do 5 minutes. Okay, so 5 minutes total, 2.5 minutes each way. What's one thing that's really challenging for you in your life right now? That's a pretty hard question, right? If you're not comfortable with that, I'm cool with that. No pressure. There's a bunch of cards that have got the awkward questions on them. You can use those. Cool. There's slightly less. Well, actually, I think that one's on there too. You turn it over, it's like, it's the same question. So I just want you to talk to the person in the room about one thing that's really challenging in your life right now. So 2.5 minutes each way, then we'll come back. Want to do swimming pool?
Working with my new boss is really. Yeah. So. People think that.
Go first.
Try with you. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I don't have time. Might be juggling a lot. It's too complicated. But it's great, and I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm at. But yeah, I think it's just challenging to juggle everything right now. But it's good.
You're living here, right? You as well.
I'm super 11 years now, based in Ireland, but I'm back and forth with Finland.
Oh, how nice. You can't have any problem with beer.
Go. Ireland's got more problems than here.
So like you mentioned, like with the juggling, how do you feel?
So I worked as a nurse in the NHS.
Impressions.
Like I prioritize my wellness, like I go to the gym every day. I still keep my wellness routine, like regardless. I've been a wife for maybe 3 weeks now, just over 2 weeks. It'll be nearly 3 weeks, and it's like every day. It's like gym at 5:30, like, and then home at 9, and it's just like been like that for like 2 weeks. There's been 2 visits and measurements of it. It's great. Like honestly, there's no complaints, but it's challenging just to being away from it.
So you're managing it successfully.
Managing it, yeah. What about you? What's your biggest challenge?
I don't know really. I mean, I guess for me at the moment, I think Mom.
They're not construction, but they do everything else.
We are. No, it's Sharon. She's my colleague. Is it Sharon here? Yeah. She's just joined. She's Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah, Richard. Yeah. I think my biggest challenge at the moment is, I guess, a sense of attachment from family. I think I've lived here for a long time, so I'm here with my wife for 19 years. You can get your foundation down. And my kids grew up here. They were 6 months in Phoenix. I noticed that. Yeah, and I think they were fairly grounded. I mean, they weren't spoiled and they weren't your typical brats. They had some things. And they've gone to university. So my daughter left about 2.5. So my son left in last year. And I think it's just created, I don't know, just a space and a gap and a hole at home. And I probably don't talk about it with my wife as much as I should because she's feeling it too. I guess we're really lucky to get to go back and see them so I want to. I kind of get
People that I work with them so well.
get her a car because she's passed the driving test, but lately it's part of me that's the nostalgia. You know, like we always used to say when we were kids at our Mars bar. I miss that connectivity of having, because we grew up in a family here. You be friends when they get to a certain age. I mean, I speak to them probably most days. I mean, I'm very close to my daughter. My son is just like me. He's quite a social butterfly. He's got lots of friends. He's got a beautiful girlfriend. I guess it's like it's a grips with the fact that life has moved on and that things have changed. She's going to come back.
Reinvent the wheel.
I just keep going back to the past. I'm really struggling with it, and I'm okay. I mean, like my mental health, I would say, is pretty good. I'm very positive.
That's your multi-level.
Sometimes I'm an introvert, but I'm an extrovert. I know I'm an introvert, so I try to have social friends.
me. So I'm managing it, and I just need to keep thinking about it being a new chapter of the same book and the excitement. And that's where I am, I think, with it.
For me, when you find connection, to do is that connection. What other things can you do to feel connection?
Yeah.
So maybe feeling to find out I've got, maybe
I've just got so much to do as well now. It's like,
I think it's explore different things. If you ever want to do sailing or golf, you know what I mean? Like start to incorporate those
Yeah.
things, like have that connection and meet new people.
I'm doing some self-care. I think I'm very much into that.
Right, just come back.
So a lot of breathing, doing the Tibetan rite probably for about maybe 5 or 6 months, which I think is helping. I've been doing for 2 months. I've been doing ice bathing,
Nice.
which you don't even have to think about. In Ireland, you can just walk down to the sea any time of year. So I typically do that probably 4 or 5 times a week. Not so much with ice floating, but I normally get the water down to about maybe 6 degrees, so cold enough. It's not. Yeah, I have to chat with you over lunch or something. Nice to meet you. Right, okay.
I do.
Ready, good? Yeah. I was super mean breaking that up because it's deep, right? Yeah, how did that feel?
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah? A little bit different, huh? Yeah, go for it.
I've done this exercise a few times, and the takeaway is always a sense of shared humanity. Sometimes we all feel like we are going through a struggle all on our own, but everyone goes through a bit of this and that. And the more you share, the more you feel like you're not alone. And we are in this together. And that whole sense of shared humanity is so powerful.
That's exactly what I wanted you all to walk out of this room with. Is we start cheering as we walk out the room, right? Go for it. What's your name? Mark, go for it, Mark.
So I think for me, and I've done this, similarly, I've done this a few times, and I think we've all got a face, and you meet people and you see people, and people look like they're together and that everything is okay. But it's amazing. Hannah and I had really good conversation, but it's amazing how quickly you can see things that actually you can relate to, and that you have that empathy because you connect with someone. Because no matter what the face is, there's something going on behind. And I just think those sort of moments where you can be honest and have that vulnerability, it really drives and forms a connection almost on steroids. It's like 5 minutes could be worth 6 hours with somebody.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Just to add to that as well, I think when I've done, because again, done similar things before, when you do it in teams as well, and you do this kind of very quick, intense, open vulnerability session, it does bring you together as a team afterwards, just to have dropped the facade for a few minutes and just been really honest about what's happening and what's going on for you outside of the office. It does increase team functionality.
And that's the whole basis of this, right? Is I couldn't agree more that actually what a lot of the time people think, if I show this, they're going to have something against me. Actually, the opposite is true, right? They have something with you and they feel that empathy and they connect, and then you create the basis for high performance. I'll come over here. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I just wanted to share something. If anyone's read Patrick Lencioni's
Yes.
5 Dysfunctions of the Team,
Yep.
the basic one, the most basic one, is a lack of trust.
Great trust. Yeah.
And one of the exercises he recommends is a personal histories sharing exercise. So this reminds me of that. So what do I see as an outcome of this exercise? I got to know Peter a little bit better. I know something personal about him. He knows about me. It's the first step toward building trust with someone, and that we're talking about high performance. And I'm not going to explain all of Patrick Lencioni's model, but that's the end result.
Totally. Yeah, totally agree. And really, like, we think about performance as this thing of like, I've got to go harder, I've got to go faster. It's actually soft, right? It's actually connection. It's actually listening. It's actually understanding how to respond sensitively. I know there's a few hands. I'm just conscious of time and I want to get to the swimming pool. Go for it.
When you're challenged,
Yes.
when you're challenged, you keep the feeling inside you.
Yes.
You don't expose it, you don't share it with anyone. I think the feeling deteriorates. It gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
So, and when you open up whatever you're feeling or your challenge, especially with someone you trust, not everybody, someone you trust, it is appealing to you, and also it's like an eye opener for you. The other guy may give you some advices, some tell you to do A, B, C. He share the pain with you. So I think the opening is very important, and empathetic listening also.
I agree. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to shuffle along because, you know, you can see how excited I am about this. Okay, this is what I've been doing my research on recently, is like using metaphor and play is a really interesting way for us to think about vulnerability differently, right? So there's a bunch of research that says actually if we move and we move together, there's a thing called physical literacy theory, where if we do these different types of movements, so Cirque du Soleil do it with the scarves, and one of the chaps I've been interviewing and doing some research with, his name's Dean Krelaz. He's mad, but he does all of the performance psychology for Cirque du Soleil and for the Washington Nationals and for a bunch of the hockey teams in the States, and they throw scarves, right? And they try and do synchronized movement. And what they found is that if we move in a certain way and we embody certain things, we get more confidence, we grow relatedness, and what it engenders is socio-cultural risk-taking, which creates psychological safety, which is the creation of psychological safety, right? So there's actual evidence to show this now. So I want to talk about a little bit about embodied movement, right? So it's a form of play which lowers barriers, right? And creates communitas, which is us getting together. And then play also preps us for the future, right? So when we play as kids, what we're actually doing is testing things out for the future, right? Is this can I say this? Can I move this way? Can I do this? Oh yeah, cool, I can. Okay, good. Now I know that I can take that into real life situations in the workplace. And we're going to do a little example here for the swimming pool. Don't worry. Where did my swimming pool slide go? Please hold. Missed my slide order up. Look at that. Okay. Okay. 3 volunteers, please. 1, 2, 3.
And
Yep. This is the swimming pool. Okay. Let's say this end is the deep end. This is the diving board. Okay. Might come out to maybe, what's your name?
Kathy.
Kathy?
Yep.
Nice one, Kathy. Where are you from?
New Zealand.
Oh my God. It's on the planet. Whitaker's chocolate.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
day, every day. Right. This is the shallow end. Okay. That's the spectator gallery, obviously. Let's say over here, it's changing rooms. Yeah. Cool. What I want you guys to do is place yourselves in the pool with how you feel about your current job.
I don't think I understand the question.
That's what I'm telling you. Okay.
What about the current job?
Your current job. Are you in the deep end? Are you in the shallow end? Are you in the spectator gallery, in the changing rooms? Are you on the diving board?
Right.
Okay, and now I want you guys to ask some questions, and there's a few up there, right? So Kathy, let's start with you. I'll do the first one, yeah? Then I want you guys to jump in, okay? Why are you where you are?
We are mid projects, and so we fluctuate between being in the deep end and like, oh my goodness, we've got to get this delivered, and on the other side where it's really great and we love all this stuff. So we're very much in the middle, fluctuating between drowning and going in the right direction.
Okay, so the deep end for you signifies drowning.
Yeah, for me it would signify drowning. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Although I can swim, by the way.
Trained lifeguard.
And I'm pretty good at it.
Okay, nice. What questions do people have for Kathy?
How are you feeling about that?
It's very stressful. Stressful for me, stressful for my team. Hard to not place stress on my team knowing how stressful it is. I love my team who are here with me. So yeah, stressful.
Are you in a, is there something that will make a difference?
So it's something that if I have the chance later to talk about, but I think false deadlines is something that I've recognised as an issue. So we tend to put false deadlines on ourselves. We have to get it done by this date because, without actually asking why are we doing that. So where's the why? Come back to the why. Is anything going to collapse? Is anything going to break? Am I going to lose lots of money? Am I going to, put the company in jeopardy? And if none of that stuff is there, then change the deadline. But battling that alignment with other people in the leadership team can always be difficult because you've said going to get it done by this date, and then you have to convince them as to why now it's actually going to be 3 months later. Yeah.
So here and there are actually some hard conversations with the leadership about those deadlines.
Absolutely. And it's tough. Yeah.
And if you had the chocolate Sam mentioned, where would you be in the pool?
Kicking on the side of the pool.
I don't work with them. Yeah, so where would you like to be is a question I like to ask as well.
It's hard, I suppose. I wonder what the changing room represents, and I couldn't connect with what that changing room would represent. Maybe that for me would represent a space where you can have clarity and thought, like I'm changing to get to the next space. So maybe the changing room's always a goal to get to, right? But I'm not sure if that's what it represents for everybody.
I think that's the point.
Yeah, it just represents you, right?
Yeah.
Answer.
To talk about this stuff because we've objectified the feeling essentially, or the emotions going on and going, well, actually, I'm just in the middle and I want to get here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a question?
No.
You're just in
Yeah, I was like, better be on the spectator gallery that everything is being taken care now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
I appreciate it. Michelle?
So I've taken a few weird interpretations. So actually I was initially in the deep end and I've come out of that. There was a tumultuous time in my team. My direct report, her father passed away. It triggered it because I lost my dad 5 years ago. And it was just, I had to take on all of her work, run onboarding it every week, logistics, etc. I was drowning. Right? Well, that's how I felt. I've come out of that and I've got a couple of other projects that I'm working on. But the changing room represents two things. One, clarity. I'm thinking, what's going to happen? What am I going to do? I have a bunch of projects that I need to work on and I'm crafting, but I have a set of barriers, challenges that I'm fighting. So I'm going to go and find what I can find for Tom to go and see if I can swim. My interpretation. So I'm trying to find the thing that I need to put on. Oh, okay, let's go. This is my interpretation of my mind. So yeah, hope that makes sense.
Questions? What questions do you have?
what does that thing look like that you're looking for?
Good question. So I have a few different barriers. Confidence, the challenges leadership wise, the role in which I need to take on more of, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. But I'm trying to really come out of my space. Sorry, I'm very visual.
I love it. I love it.
Come out of my space and try and think of it in new lenses instead of the lens that I was kind of in. So I'm trying to go, okay, what can I do more of? These kind of days help with that. Innovative thinking, just lots of different thoughts swirling, and to craft something that I think I can believe and go ahead with.
People in the organisation, you have those different lenses that you can go to.
Not always, no.
In this current job, are there people that you think actually?
Yes, here and there, a little bit. Depends on the thing that I'm looking at. But I also needed some downtime, and I haven't had that. I'm juggling a lot of plates. So it's like trying to prioritize the
So putting some structure
silence.
around.
Yeah,
Structure.
structure and silence. Yeah,
Yeah.
structure and silence, basically. Because it'll help me get to the thing that I need to get to.
as your most confident self, where would you like to see yourself?
Hearing this example.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
The cocktail.
Awesome. Okay, last but not least.
So I initially was gonna go for the deep end. Yeah. And then I said, why not the shallow end? And then when you mentioned that it doesn't matter, it resonated more for me, the changing room. And then I put my own logic into it. So why I was thinking initially the deep end, because I like to see depth and impact in what I do in my life and everything. If I don't see that, I'm completely disengaged. I leave it alone. Get the hell out of my way. And then I thought the shallow end, I was like, uselessness, don't like it. Yeah. And then I associated it with my, isn't this like right now about like what's going on in our job right now? Yeah. Right. All right. There was a point in time where I felt very much engaged. Yeah. Very much deep in work and impacting and doing things, actually, making a difference and helping people out and everything. And then I said, there was a time not too long ago where I felt like nothing is going on. Yeah. So now, right now, how I feel, I go to the changing room. I'm about to make a big decision right now. And I'm a kind of person, I'm very cold turkey. I'll stay quiet and then I just surprise people. I just stay quiet and I'm like, yeah, you think you know what I'm doing? Surprise. So, that's why I threw in the whole skinny dipping thing. Nobody expected that. Yeah. So go to the changing room to just take everything off and then jump in the pool. You know what I mean? Like that. So what I feel that all of them mean, in my perspective, depth has to do with depth in what you do, feeling, and meaning in things. Shallowness is lack of contribution, to what you're doing in that point in time. And the changing room represents that point of action where you're about to do something.
Thank you.
If it was a round of applause.
It was-
That's all right.
Yeah, I'll take that. Thank you.
Any questions?
Where do you prefer to be?
Where I prefer to be. I'm out like her. I would like to go everywhere.
Yeah.
So in career, in life, I don't like to feel stuck. I like to be free. If I feel that something is holding me down, I will either break it, send it away, or change, adapt to it. Adapt or die. So that's why I said I'm like her. I like to be able to change when I feel like it. I like to be able to go in the deep end when I feel like it, and to do nothing when I feel like it, So I would like to be free. That's how I would put it.
Swimming links in the pool, maybe.
Maybe I'm in the pool. Maybe I don't want to be in the pool.
Or in the spectator. Okay, got it. Any more? What more questions? One more?
Grill me.
Did you like the swimming pool metaphor? How did you feel about the swimming pool
I
metaphor?
actually love the swimming pool metaphor, and I liked it even more whenever you said, "I'm not going to tell you anymore." I love when you said that. I'm like, oh, that makes it even. That's freedom for me. So why I love the swimming pool metaphor, because water is about flow. So I like to flow. So I love the swimming pool metaphor.
I'm trying to bring more play into my life. I'm someone who loves to think. So now the strategy, the first thing that comes to mind, do that. Which is what? So when you said nothing else, I was like, I'll fight my brain. Okay, I'm to go on the first train of thought. But yeah.
Every time I do this, every time everyone says, well, what does the deep end mean? What does the shallow end mean? I'm not telling you. It's up to you, right?
Yeah.
So thank you all very much.
What it means for you.
So I actually have a company which I work with that actually use that for their chickens. Right? So at every meeting, they'll use the metaphor of the swimming pool just to go, okay, how's everyone arriving? Are you in the deep end, the shallow end, diving board? What's going on for you right now? So do a quick round at the start of the meeting for 10 minutes to actually ask how people are arriving. So you can use it there too. Okie dokie. So this is my conclusion, right? And I'd love it if, you know, you had your own and we can talk about them after. But building that safety enables initiative. Yeah. Initiative is where innovation and business enhancement intersect, and crucially, where businesses begin to perform, right? So people stand on their edge, right? And as a team coach, there's a saying which my lecturers drilled into me, is that teams and team coaching goes the best when teams and the coaches are standing on their learning edge, right? And we're going, whoa, what's going on, right? That's when the magic happens. So that's what we're trying to get here, right? So, hey, it's safe. I got you. There's a safety net, but you can jump off. All right. Okay. Reflect for me. How do you feel now? Yeah, cool. Different?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lighter? Cool. Nice. Maybe a bit connected?
Very much so.
Yeah, the office to meet with like-minded people is quite cool.
Yeah, cool. Used. Cool. Love it. Thank you for the honesty. Okay. And what one small change can you make today? So just reflect on that. You know, what's one thing? Because this is all lovely, right? If we don't take it back, we don't do something with it, then it just stays as lovely. Right? So my challenge to you is take those cards, go and ask those questions. Think about the change you can make today. Can you implement the check-in at the start of your business meetings? Can it be at the start of client meetings? How are you arriving? You're right. See what happens. Give it a try. Okay. Thank you very much. Honestly, the quality of your attention was amazing. Thank you. More about me, of course, I've got to do this right. LinkedIn, that's all about us and the whole team at London and Dubai, which we're building, which is pretty exciting. And then we've got a whole bunch of online courses too, which, you know, check them out. Let me know what you think. There's some free ones, there's some not free ones. If you want to know more, message me on LinkedIn. I spend most of my adult life on LinkedIn. So yeah, let me know. And then I'd love to have field any questions you have. I think, yeah, we're good. We've got time for questions. Of course, I'm here all day. Come grab me, come talk to me, ask me, tell me your opinion. Tell me what you thought of this. Tell me your opinion of me. Kathy, come tell me that you love my accent. God, it was like a warm bath listening to you speak. I was just like, oh, I'm at home. But yeah, thank you so much for the quality of your attention and for your input. Like, it's lovely to feel engagement. So thank you very much.